Chris McMurray, and this is A Radical Journey, and we're going to take you behind the scenes. We'll meet other drivers, hear how they got into driving radicals, and what the experience is like. We'll watch in-car videos, look inside the Cup cars, get prepared for the season, and give you something fun to watch. So join us on A Radical Journey.
Well, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, back to Sonoma Raceway for what is the third to last round or race of the Radical Cup North America Championship. You just heard from Chris McMurray, and if you want to follow along in Chris's fantastic season with Radical this year, check out My Radical Journey. That's on racer.com. I would also suggest checking out his arch rivals videos, and that is, of course, Suelio Almeida. And there's been plenty of action between those two. And speaking of action, let's take a look back at all the action from the final, or the penultimate round of the championship, up north of the border in Canada. Weekend it's been on the streets of Toronto, the Concrete Canyon, once again providing plenty of action and some new winners. A success story for Wayne Williams breaking through in the Platinum class. John Field backing it up, Louis Schreiber sharing the podium, and also Canadian Kevin Poitras, a superstar this weekend. In Pro 1500, it was the Jordan Missig show for two of the races, but contact in race 3 allowed Nick D'Orlando to come through with a win. Those two are in a ferocious championship fight that will go all the way through to Sonoma. Evan Slater, very, very quick on the podium once again. Shout out to Spencer Schmidt. A number of drivers having a great weekend. None other than the youngest in the field, Maya Dionorine. 3 from 3 in Pro 1340. Meanwhile, Suelio Almeida goes to the top of the point score. Chris McMurray with some podiums, but also a crash in race 3. Wild racing yet again on the streets of Toronto. Next time, it's wine country and the grand finale for the season, Sonoma. And grand finale it is this weekend. Of course, the big stories out of the practice sessions and indeed qualifying, possibly the biggest, was that under the heat here at Sonoma, we actually had a small fire in the back of Jordan Missig's machine. Disaster struck the young gun and in practice yesterday, but luckily he was A-OK and not shaken at all. The car a little bit worse for wear. Radical Northwest came to the rescue with a brand new chassis that was quickly delivered into Graham Rahal Performance. And Jordan was out there immediately back on the pace. In fact, in this morning's practice session, he was fastest in Pro 1500. He wasn't quite as lucky in the qualifying session. We'll get to the grid and those results in just a moment. But before we do, there's a huge championship battle playing out between Missig and D'Orlando. And as we head into the race today, let's have a little listen to what D'Orlando has to say.
Great to be out here at Sonoma Raceway for the final weekend of Radical Cup North America. It's the last race. As I said, I'm only 8 points behind my teammate Jordan Missig for the Drivers' Championship in SR3 1500. Super pumped to be hunting him down this weekend and give this last weekend a championship run.
Only 7 points separate Jordan Missig from D'Orlando now. Evan Slater just 33 behind the pair of Graham Rahal Performance drivers. It's going to be a tight one in the Pro 1500 Championship. It's also extremely tight in Pro 1340 as well. Chris McMurray is second in the points after leading earlier on in the season. And we caught up with him earlier today as well.
Hey, it's Chris McMurray with Crown Racing, powered by Apex Motor Club. It is go time here in Sonoma. This is it, baby. We're going for the championship. We're going to give them everything we got.
And Chris is going to do just that. In fact, it was his teammates, though, that were quicker in the qualifying session. And they're professional drivers. There's no doubt about that. Anders Fjordbach was on the pole for Pro 1340. He's certainly been the class act of that class all weekend long. And his son, it's the first time that Chris McMurray has raced with Matt McMurray. And it's fantastic to have Matt here along with us this weekend. But, of course, if Chris was the antagonist, it's Suelio Almeida, who has captured a lot of people's attention this year with his debut in the championship after really cutting his teeth in motorsport only in the virtual world. And let's have a quick word with Suelio.
My name is Suelio Almeida. I'm a sim racer turned real-life driver, and I'm actually leading the championship. This is definitely going to be the most difficult round, the season finale. I'm leading by just a small margin, and the grid is very strong. So we're gonna do our best today. We did our best yesterday to find the time, and there's a lot to work on to reach that championship title, but I'm gonna do my best.
All right. Well, as we can see, the drivers just lining up down the pit lane. In fact, they've just been split by the grid marshals. We've had a little bit of commotion in the previous session. The Toyota Tundra is out there on the circuit, and everyone else is getting set around Sonoma. Turn 11 Hospitality Suite is packed with lots of fans and friends of the Radical Cup community. And the drivers will embark on 2 pace laps, I believe, based on this morning's driver's briefing. But at the moment, we're just under a short hold. Perhaps while we've got the short hold, we'll take you through that grid. And starting off the back, we were looking for Jim Booth, but he is not going to make it in this race. I can see that from the back row of the grid. In position 28, it's Spencer Schmidt, who's racing for Radical Northwest. He's got a lot of hard work to do. There was an engine swap that was required this morning. Unfortunately, Spencer didn't get out in qualifying, and he's already mandated a move through the field. In fact, speaking to his fellow racers in the Parc Ferme area after qualifying, he said, "I'm charging through." So a word of warning there. Alongside him starts Kenny Nail in the number 91 machine. Then we're into position 26 on the grid, and Chris Hinojosa, who joins us for the first time this season, alongside Amit Patel, another one of our local drivers. Both of those guys will be vying for the gold class honours in Pro 1500. Alex Fisher starts from position 24 alongside Ron Fletcher. Fletcher, the last time he was here, he actually ended up on his lid. Hopefully he'll have a clean one today. But Sonoma, Ron Fletcher enjoys, even though it was a wild ride the last time he was here. Mike Ansaldi will start from position 22 on the grid alongside Bob Mueller, and great to see so many fresh faces this weekend. Benjamin Blander will start from the 10th row of the grid alongside Suelio Almeida, and Blander is in the mix for that 1340 fight in terms of the points. But Suelio Almeida, crucially for Chris McMurray, was behind McMurray in qualifying. Arul Venkatesh effectively sits between them on the grid, but Almeida will line up behind McMurray, who starts from position 17 in this one. Mac McMurray, his son, will start from position 16 and was second fastest in Pro 1340. Jack Yang will start from position 15, and we've seen a win outright in the Pro 1500 class from Jack Yang this year at Road America, so look out for the number 21 machine from Group A Racing. Anders Fjordbach will start from the pole in Pro 1340. That's from the 7th row of the grid alongside Corey Nouveau, who was faster than Jack Yang in qualifying, and the two guys leading the charge for Gold Class Honours are also line astern on the inside of the grid. From the 6th row, it's Matt Roma alongside Wayne Williams. Jordan Missig starts from position 10th, and he leads that Pro 1500 Championship. Evan Slater was second quickest, and Slater has been exceptionally quick the second half of this season. Of course, he got a clean sweep, a number of wins to his name at Laguna Seca. So California has fond memories for Slater. We'll see what he can do this weekend. Nick D'Orlando will start from the 4th row of the grid. He was on pole in Pro 1500, taking away a crucial point from Jordan Missig's small lead. Steve Jenks will start from position 7. Chip Roma from 6th. Greg Gorski from 5th on the grid. Louis Schreiber will start from position 4. Clint Field from position 3. And on the front row, it's John Field, who was pipped by Mackay Stevens, who put it on the pole. When I say pipped, it was really no contest. Unbelievable job from the 22 machine. Mackay Stevens has completely outfoxed the wily old fox of John Field. John Field put in a 1:37.8, but Mackay Stevens a 1:35.9. It was an exceptional performance in qualifying. We'll see, though, what Mr. Field can do in that 37 machine as the race gets on. It's one thing to, of course, do a quick lap. It's another thing to convert that into pole position and convert that pole into an early race lead. Now, again, we are expecting 2 pace laps, although drivers are definitely side by side, and it looks like we are going to get a green at this time by. So the pace car is in, ladies and gentlemen. The third to last race in the 2024 Radical Cup North America Series is about to get underway. It's Mackay Stevens and John Field who will lead this pack of 30-odd radicals to the green. 3 classes, in fact 4 if you include that subclass of gold. It's green flag racing here at Sonoma Raceway, and Mackay is into an early lead. It looks like Louis Schreiber's just got on the marbles a little bit as he heads up into turn 3. And meanwhile, a little bit of a moment there from Clint Field further back, side-by-side action as they go up around the top section of the circuit. And it looks like a very aggressive start for Evan Slater, who would appear to be trying to hunt down Nick D'Orlando, who's also got a good start. There's 2 cars off already. So we'll see what happened there. Just trying to pick up the car numbers, a little bit hard to tell. They're still racing, though. It's green flag action for the moment. Although I think the local yellow is certainly out in turn 1 as Wayne Williams has a look to the inside of D'Orlando, and that's not what D'Orlando needs, because that's allowed Evan Slater through into the lead in Pro 1500, and also Jordan Missig through as well. So D'Orlando caught out by the Platinum class car of Wayne Williams. Of course, Wayne Williams trying to get back on the tail of some of his compatriots in that class. He's got plenty of work to do, and through the chicane for the first time. That was Evan Slater. So Jordan Missig is now in the lead of Pro 1500, with Slater behind. D'Orlando relegated to 3rd on this opening lap after starting from the pole. It's full course caution, so the race director, Bo Barfield's allowed these guys to race as long as they can in this opening tour, and now we're under a full course caution. Well, what highs and lows we saw from the top 3 in Pro 1500 there. Jordan Missig, starting 3rd on the grid, now finds himself in the lead of this motor race. Evan Slater 2nd, and D'Orlando relegated to 3rd after a strong start. Caught out by Wayne Williams, who was mixed up in that. It looks like a Radical Northwest car has been involved in that incident. Can't quite make out the might be Spencer Schmidt, whose luck is not on his side this weekend, but Spencer Schmidt, hopefully he can get refired. Of course, it's worth probably trying to do a few tours because the lap times in this one will set the grid for the next one. So all important not to throw in the towel early, and neither of those drivers have got out. So perhaps thinking about the weekend. But Mackay Stevens has converted his pole into an early lead. John Field, Clint Field, Louis Schreiber, Greg Gorski, Chip Romer, that's the top 6. Chris McMurray is right up there too, and he's had a cracker of a start. Chris McMurray finds himself in the lead of Pro 1340. He's ahead of Andrews Fordbach and Matt McMurray. Swelio Almeida currently 4th, so this has big championship points implications as well, because Swelio Almeida only had 15 points heading into this race. At the moment, that would put Chris McMurray back in the lead of the championship. Literally every pass, every position is going to count in this one. So after what has been relatively smooth sailing here, certainly the qualifying session ran its entirety. Just a couple of small spins for people. But now the USAC safety car is out ahead of this field. This, of course, will give John Field a good opportunity to capitalize on a restart. Clint Field, watch out for him too. I think the other one to watch out for too in the Platinum class is Steve Jenks. The 68 machine has showed pretty strong pace, and Jenks is no stranger to these machines, although he's had a little hiatus. The last time he was in a Radical was at Laguna, but that was a Pro 1500 car. So Steve Jenks back in the equipment he knows well, and certainly a strong competitor. Now it looks like drivers have been taken out and precautionarily put into the emergency vehicles there. But the good news is we look to be clearing those cars relatively quickly. And that run up into that sweeping right-hander is quite a challenge. The way that the track just seems to converge a little bit from people on the racing line and not on it. We've also seen this weekend from the new surface, so quite a little bit of dust and debris offline, and that's caught a few people out in practice as well. But I think the person with the biggest grin at the moment would be under the visor of that number 48 machine. Jordan Missig, in new equipment, has done a stellar job to reset, get back down to business. And of course the Graham Rahal Performance team has done a great job to get that car up to speed. The drivers are being told to slow it right down in this section of the circuit. Almost coming to a stop as they head up the hill there. Perhaps Mackay Stevens just not realizing how much of a concertina that would be further back in the pack. So 40-minute race, as they often are in the series. In fact, the only time it's a little bit shorter is on the streets of Toronto. This race won't feature a mandatory pit stop. The final one of the season will, though. So that will add another element of complexity for both the drivers and the teams. A little bit of stress, no doubt, for the team members, just making sure that their drivers stay calm. But this one is a straight fight, a sprint race. We're eager to get this going again. It has been an amazing battle all year long, and looking at the different classes, John Field might have 53 points over Louis Schreiber at the moment. but it's tight. Chip Romer's only 34 points behind, and Clint Fields only 19 behind that. So the top three in the Platinum class could well change. That order could certainly change over the course of this weekend. We've talked about Pro 1500, and Evan Slater is only about 33 points behind Nick D'Orlando. He is well in the hunt and definitely the dark horse. If you're looking for someone to place a bet on, I think it's the 35 machine. He's found his pace throughout the season, Evan Slater. He worked on a few things with the car as well. Believe it or not, realized that they had been running a little bit overweight. And with a little bit less ballast on the car, Evan Slater picked up a little bit more lap time. But he's really taken the fight to Nick D'Orlando and Jordan Missig in the final few rounds of the championship. It's really going to hurt Spencer Schmidt that moment there. He was doing a solid job. He was fourth in the Pro 1500 championship, and whilst likely not, it wasn't possible for him to finish in the top three. This is giving Jack Yang and Corey Nouveau an opportunity to really leapfrog Spencer in those outright results. Of course, Jack Yang, Corey Nouveau, gold class runners as well, and they are fighting for their own championship trophy effectively. And it's Corey Nouveau who is ahead of Jack Yang at the moment. So the tow trucks have collected both the cars. Certainly taking a little time to recover. The other remarkable thing in all of this is Kenny Nail, a rookie for the year. Graham Rahal performance driver, loves his motorsport, had seen these cars race at Laguna Seca last year and thought, why am I not doing this? Got in touch with Graham and the guys at GRP, and he's had a stellar year in Pro 1340. With just consistency, he sits third in the points. And it's Ben Blander who's got some work to do if he's to take over that third place in the championship. And I've got a feeling that so I think we've also established, just looking at the timing and scoring, that it might have been a Rule Venkatesh that ended up on the sidelines. It was, so he didn't complete the lap. So that's good news for Spencer Schmidt fans out there. Thank God for that. He'd already had that issue with the engine. And but it was a Rule Venkatesh who had the issue. However, it was Ben Blander as well. And we were just talking about him in that fight for the Pro 1340 Championship, so that has massive ramifications for him. Now, this could add a little change to things as well, because of course, the drivers get 2 sets of Hankook rubber from qualifying. They've got to manage those tyres between qualifying, race 1 and race 2. Doesn't matter when you use the tyres or in what sequence, or you can mix and match sets as well, but you only get 2 sets of tyres. So with this extended safety car period, could be some drivers rethinking their strategy. Perhaps they can keep this set of rubber a little longer, maybe use it in the second race, and then keep a fresh set for the final race tomorrow. Jordan Missig and Evan Slater will also have to deal with Wayne Williams as we go green again, and there was some concern in the driver's briefing in terms of how the classes would interact. Certainly a request that everyone thinks about their own reputation in terms of how they're racing with each other. But at the end of the day, everyone's got a right to be out there trying to take the race win. And for Wayne Williams, who didn't have the greatest of qualifying, he's got a job to do to try and get on the back of Steve Jenks in the 68 machine that we see on screen there and get up to that pack of Platinum class cars. Now it looks like the lights are out on the safety car. 27 minutes remaining, and Mackay Stevens has let that safety car pull away. He's going to go into the final corner and pick his moment to accelerate. We'll see if John Field can keep up the pace as they round this final corner here and start accelerating towards a green flag. They're going to be flat out as the green flag will wave. It's already waving here, and we're back under green at Sonoma Raceway. Mackay Stevens just stretching the legs already. Unbelievable pace as Wayne Williams has a look to the outside of the front runners in Pro 1500. Louis Schreiber certainly not leaving anything on the table. It just looked like Chip Romer had a little bit of a moment there. The 68 of Steve Jenks with, and it looks like there was a touch there. And that could have been one of the front runners. That might have been Greg Gorski. And it might have been Evan Slater. The front runners of Pro 1500 right in the thick of that Platinum class battle. And around the outside, one of the drivers go. This is dicey stuff for Evan Slater. The 35 machine has got ahead of Jordan Missig. So that again is a change of the lead in Pro 1500. And you could see that their elbows were out. They're hip and shouldering out there. Trying to get past. So the Pro 1500 drivers trying to give themselves space. The fight of the championship is on. And Jordan Missig right up behind the gearbox of Evan Slater. D'Orlando's trying to get in the thick of things too. The 68 of Steve Jenks is sort of caught in this battle. But now it's Slater's turn to lead, and side by side they go up through the kink in that straightaway. Ahead of them, that was Chip Romer and Greg Gorski. Further back in the pack, more side-by-side action. That was 21 of Jack Yang. Just getting around, that was Anders Fjordbach. But at the front of this field, the race is on. And D'Orlando, you can see, has a Platinum class car just ahead of him. Wayne Williams streaks through the shot. Just under 25 minutes remain. And Missig has run wide. So a moment for Missig has allowed Steve Jenks to get on the inside in the 68 machine. That's not what Missig needs. You can see there his teammate D'Orlando behind, and Jenks is really forcing the issue. Nice bit of driving from both of them. Out of class cars, dicing for track position. That's what racing is in the Radical Cup Series, preparing these drivers for what may lay ahead in their careers. Whether it's Le Mans, whether it is the WeatherTech Series. This is a great breeding ground for talent. And Evan Slater is now in the box seat. And you can see the difference in the braking performance as again Jordan Missig forces the issue, and this is dangerous stuff for Missig. So close to the wall. And Missig really has to be careful. It's his championship on the line here. So there's Chip Romer with Greg Gorski behind. And the fight at the Platinum class and the pointy end of the field is a fantastic one. Wayne Williams goes through. And he's got another Romer. That's Matt Romer behind him. Meanwhile, Slater is back on the gearbox of Greg Gorski. Out in front, Mackay Stevens doing it easy. Mackay Stevens with a 1:38.3 last time round. A huge lead. Then it's back to the fields. Father and son duking it out for second place. John Field has the edge at the moment. Further back, there is an attack and into the chicane. Oh, and he's nearly got a touch. In fact, he's gone off. So Evan Slater, that's disaster for him, duking it out with Greg Gorski. They weren't in the same class, but Slater's been tumbled back to third. So Slater didn't need to put himself in that position at all. It was a dicey move trying to go around the outside of a Platinum class car. And disaster for Slater. Spencer Schmidt is carving his way up through the field, doing a solid job. He's up to 14th now. So starting at the back of the grid, he's past half the field. And apologies to all his fans. We thought he was on the sidelines there after that turn one incident, but Spencer's doing a sterling job. Radical Northwest cars with quite a unique, distinct livery, but they're running the same livery of black, purple and pink. The fields still attacking each other. Clint Field had a couple of gremlins to overcome in the practice sessions. It's done so and shows remarkable pace. Does a little bit less driving than his father. Again, this battle for Pro 1500s heating up. D'Orlando behind Jordan Missig, who's getting held up into the corners by the SR10s. And Evan Slater third. They're running line astern. There they go into the final hairpin. And you'll see the SR10 start to streak away as they use that 430 brake horsepower. The SR3s with about half that horsepower, but the lightweight, nimble nature of the SR3 chassis with that motorcycle-derived powertrain, making them a beautifully balanced car, and they corner so quick, particularly in the hands of the likes of Jordan Missig, D'Orlando, and Slater. So Slater had done what he needed to do. A moment for him, and it was all over. It was a similar story for D'Orlando earlier, who got caught out by some of this SR10 traffic, and you can see why these guys are fighting in the SR10. They've got their own race. It's Gorski versus Steve Jenks. Mr. Smoke Buddy duking it out with Steve Jenks. These guys are no stranger to fighting, and Jenks has a good look to the inside as they, the inside, and Gorski's had to take to the gravel. He'll come back across, but he's got to be careful here. He's got to relinquish that spot. Can't gain a position outside of the circuit. He doesn't. Meanwhile, D'Orlando's under all sorts of pressure as they head down into the hairpin from Slater, who finds himself on the outside. Can't do anything that time. So we're seeing on the screen at the moment the best lap times. That is not the race order, but as you can see, Mackay Stevens is unbelievably quick, but amazingly so, it's actually Evan Slater, who's second quickest on the racetrack at the moment. We've got a green flag out on the start-finish straight. I presume that is for an incident that's occurred out of the final hairpin. Chris McMurray still leads from Matt McMurray. Swelio Almeida has made it past Anders Fjordbach. So, again, that's important for that Pro 1340 Championship. We'll try and pick up that action in a minute. Clint Field has dropped back from John Field, who may be making a bit of a move up through and trying to regain some track position on Mackay Stevens. Meanwhile, Jordan Missick still in command of Pro 1500. We'll pick up the front runners in Pro 1340, and they're running line astern as well. Through past the Toyota signage and down into the hairpin. It's a good battle as well, and I tell you what, Anders Fjordbach has just taken a big lunge at the young Canadian Brazilian Swelio Almeida. We'll see how that unravels as they come past the commentary booth. Right now we're watching the 22, that's the outright leader of Mackay Stevens. And Swelio Almeida is down a position, so he's now fourth. He was up to third, he'd passed Anders Fjordbach, but Mac McMurray sits behind Chris McMurray. The drivers running third and fourth in Pro 1340 are running a little bit faster, 1:42s for Fjordbach and Swelio Almeida. Meanwhile, Matt McMurray, Chris McMurray in the 43s. We've just seen a mishap there with Greg Gorski. So Louis Schreiber's locked up the brakes, and it looks like the 68 of Steve Jenks has made it past him as well. So Jenks is on the move. Up to fourth now. D'Orlando's just dropped off the back of Evan Slater. Slater off the back of D'Orlando. So D'Orlando is matching Missick's pace. Matt Romer's up to fourth in Pro 1500. This is good news for Chris McMurray in Pro 1340. That would be maximum point score. 40 points to him. And it would put him back in the lead of Pro 1340 against Swelio Almeida, who's just not quite had the edge that he's shown on other racetracks this weekend, it must be said. A lot on the line here for Swelio Almeida. He bought his own car to compete in this championship. Determined to prove what sim racers can do. He's certainly done that, there's no doubt about that. But he's had a school of hard knocks, if you will. Chris McMurray, a fierce competitor. And I think Swelio has really realised what real world racing's all about. The grit, the determination, and he's stepped up to the challenge, there's no doubt about that. We'll see what happens as the three races unfold here. 13 minutes remain in race one at Sonoma. Certainly plenty of points for Swelio to claw back as well. And as we've seen in Pro 1500, anything can happen. So we're watching a battle a little bit further back. And through goes, that would be Chip Romer, mixing it up with the likes of Chris Hinojosa. That's actually Mackay Stevens coming through the field now, so his next victim, if you will, is Chris Hinojosa. So the complexity of this race changes yet again. On the 82 just running a little bit wide there. But Mackay Stevens will have to contend with the traffic, and so too will a number of other drivers. So as well, and we've had a spin in the chicane, and that is, I believe that's Chip Roma who's gone around. No, very similar looking car though. It's not the Stella Artois machine though. And traffic again, Louis Schreiber in the mix of this Pro 1500 battle, and that is not good news for Evan Slater. He just got balked a little bit. That was the 91. That was Kenny Nail who'd had that moment in the chicane. Jordan Missig now sits, would you believe, 4th overall. So again, like has happened so often this year, the top Pro 1500 drivers just seem to be able to reel off the laps. Some of the Platinum class guys have come into grief again. So the order is Mackay Stevens, who leads Platinum from John Field. Then it's Steve Jenks. What a stellar run he's had today. Jordan Missig is 4th on the racetrack, 1st in Pro 1500 from D'Orlando. Then we're back to Schreiber. Evan Slater sits 3rd in Pro 1500, 7th overall. Matt Roma, Clint Field. So what happened to Clint Field? A moment for him somewhere. Chris McMurray still leads Pro 1340 from Mac McMurray. And just Ford-Bach. And then Suelio Almeida. Mike Anzaldi sits 5th. And it's Alex Fisher. And Kenny Nail, who we mentioned had a moment in the chicane. Oh, the driving is still very, very quick in terms of the front end of the field. Louis Schreiber trying to clear the back markers quickly. It's the 127. Bob Mueller, who's joined the championship for the first time. Great to see Bob out there enjoying his Radical Cup racing, using all of the circuit here at Sonoma. And why not? So under 10 minutes remain. Jordan Missig still leads Pro 1500. Just looking out the booth to see where those guys are on circuit at the moment. Just picked up the lead in Pro 1340, Chris McMurray. And it looks like Suelio Almeida has dropped back quite a bit. The number 3 car, just wonder whether he's going to drop back, conserve those tyres and try and put in a fast one. Perhaps he's looking more to the lap times. Let's see if there's any truth to that. It's Anders Fjordbach who's fastest in terms of lap times so far. Suelio Almeida he'd still be 4th on the grid in terms of the class for the next race. So Almeida just not with the pace of the Crown Concepts drivers at the moment. Oh, we've just had Louis Schreiber miss turn 9. Wayne Williams trying to make amends for a bit of a scrappy start to the day. Stunning livery on the Esses Racing prepared car. Wayne is really impressed though in the Platinum class. A sprint car driver, turn tarmac racer. And Spencer Schmitz just had a moment as well in the chicane. A few drivers getting caught out by that today. Wayne Williams just moving around that kink. in the straightaway. It's a very intense corner in the middle of the front straight here at Sonoma. Field reasonably spread out, but the battles continue to rage in Pro 1500 and Pro 1340. John Field by his lonesome. Mackay Stevens has got an absolutely fantastic lead, 20 seconds for Stevens. Oh, we've just had a spin out of the chicane. And I think that's it's one of our newer competitors. That might be Chris Hinojosa. So the heat certainly built up through the day here at Sonoma. I just think the tyres, the track surface, clearly getting a little greasier. The lap times are certainly down on qualifying. So we see the 61 of Mike Anzaldi. Wayne Williams has had another spin as well. The chicane is causing all sorts of drama. Wayne Williams goes round and has to rejoin the track, and he's going to do it just in front of Suelio Almeida, who gestures to the 57 of Wayne Williams. And another spin. There must be some kind of oil or something down in the chicane because another driver goes round. Mike Anzaldi doesn't have any issues getting through there. But plenty of drivers not finding any grip into the chicane. Jordan Missig still in command. This is a big moment for Missig after a fire on Thursday. It looked like everything was over. He kept his cool. The team did their job. A new chassis comes in and Missig straight away back on the pace. In this morning's practice session, he was fastest. A big lock-up again into the chicane. And Missig, who just didn't quite put it together in qualifying, a few comments that the track really... It got greasy, it got dirty during the qualifying session, and unfortunately for Missig, he just hadn't put in a lap when he needed to. Relegated to third on the grid, but he finds himself in the lead of Pro 1500, as he often has this year. And as the clock counts down, it's Missig who is in command, importantly ahead of Nick D'Orlando, his teammate. Evan Slater still sitting third. Mackay Stevens continues to extend his lead. Steve Jenks sits third. A great run for him in the Platinum class. And could there be an opportunity for Suelio Almeida? Some of those Platinum class drivers are still carving their way up through the pointy end of Pro 1340. Just got to keep it clean. Worry about your own race, and Almeida can still claw this back. This would make the points extremely tight. Another moment into the chicane. That time it was Jordan Missig who kicked up a little bit of dust. But Missig survives. D'Orlando doesn't close too much. This great fight further back in the Platinum class as well, going down into the final hairpin. There we are. You can see the Louis Schreiber a part of that. It's Chip Roma as well. Clint Field all duking it out. Another spin into the chicane. And that looks like that was Jack Yang. So that could have some implications in the gold class, because Spencer Schmidt is clawing his way up through the field still. Jack Yang doesn't need any more moments like that. Corey Nuvio ahead of Jack Yang on the road, so that will really be important. And Corey could help his, or Spencer could help his teammate. Chris McMurray in the Racer.com car, leading Pro 1340 class. His son behind. If I think of a few years ago, there was a father and son duo here at Sonoma. It was the Millers, and it definitely appeared that the older of the two was playing rear gunner, if you will, as a massive moment for the number 6 machine of Matt Roma into the chicane. But 1 minute remaining on the clock. Evan Slater's just gone past the post. We'll pick up Mackay Stevens. He's going to start another tour, no doubt. What is happening in Pro 1500? Certainly in Pro 1340, it looks like Suelio Almeida's found some pace. Anders Fjordbach has fallen into the clutches of Almeida. There's Clint Field in the 36. The white flag is being prepared for Mackay Stevens. And here we are. So Mackay Stevens is going to make this a long race, because with 19 seconds to go, he's just past the post. So everyone is going to get another lap in here. Jordan Missig looked settled through the chicane that time. It was D'Orlando who had a bit of a moment. Missig, D'Orlando, Slater running line astern on the racetrack, but there's a fair bit of space. Missig looks comfortable out in the lead of Pro 1500 as they start their final lap. Mackay Stevens we're watching as he makes his final circuit here at Sonoma Raceway. It's been just a spectacular drive from Stevens. 25 seconds is the gap to John Field. I'm just trying to pick up where he is in relation to some of the 1340 drivers. He's just coming up behind Spencer Schmidt, so I don't think he will take any other victims, if you will. I think Spencer will be free to have one more lap. So there's Chris McMurray, who takes the white flag. He has got a big lead over the 31 of his son, Matt McMurray. Anders Fjordbach has a mirror full of the number 3 of Suelio Almeida. We've had another moment in the chicane. The checkered flag is out. And Mackay Stevens has taken that spectacular win. We're looking back to the chicane now and picking up the leaders in Pro 1500. So we actually watch the checkered flag fly. We'll see the leaders in Pro 1500 go through shot there. And you can see it was still Jordan Missig in the lead. So Missig makes amends and will come through for a spectacular win himself in Pro 1500. There he goes. Fantastic job by Missig. Nick D'Orlando second. That's another 1-2 from Graham Rahal Performance. Evan Slater third. Steve Jenks has finished third in Platinum. And now the battle, the final battle on track. is between Anders Fordbach and the 3 of Almeida, and Almeida has got a great run. Hopefully we can pick up this action. We're going to see them just in the back of shot here as they go through past the Toyota signage. Can Almeida make a lunge into the inside? We'll wait and pick them up. I don't know if he was close enough out of that final chicane. But if there's one person who knows how to do a late move, it's Almeida. No, he does finish 4th behind Anders Fordbach. And so Chris McMurray will move into the lead of the Pro 1340 Championship with a fantastic win for Crown Concepts. It's a 1-2-3 for them. Well, it's time to go down and celebrate the podium getters. After a slow start and a full course caution period, it was Mackay Stevens who absolutely dominated the Platinum class from John Field and Steve Jenks. Jordan Missig had a topsy-turvy race, went into the lead, got sent down the order. So too did D'Orlando and Slater. And in the end, it was the 48 machine that came out in front in Pro 1500. D'Orlando second, Slater third. And then, as we mentioned, Chris McMurray taking the win in Pro 1340 from his son, Matt McMurray, and Anders Fjordbach. Well, that wraps up race 1 of 3 here at Sonoma Raceway. We'll see you tomorrow for the penultimate round and then the final race of the 2024 Radical Cup North America Series. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to get the trophy presentation underway for the Radical Cup North America Series. And we'll start, as we often do, with the Sunoco Hardest Charger. And the number 19 hasn't had the most luck this weekend, but he certainly clawed his way back. He sent out the challenge on in Parc Ferme after qualifying. Congratulations, Spencer Schmidt, our Sunoco hard charger. And you said you'd do that, mate, and you did through the field. Fantastic, up 13 positions.
Yeah, obviously starting last wasn't where we wanted to be, but got it to the end and brought it home. I hope we got a good enough lap down that we'll start a little better tomorrow than dead last.
Yeah, start in your rightful place. Well, congratulations. We'll get a quick shot there of Spencer making amends after that engine issue. We'll move on to 1340 and a newcomer into the championship and immediately onto the podium. Congratulations, home third, Anders Fortbach. Anders making his way onto the podium here for the first time. In second place, another newcomer and another father-son combo. Great to see in Radical Cup racing for Crown Concepts, Matt McMurray. And taking a win, it was one that was needed for this championship battle. Congratulations, Crown Concepts 1, 2 and 3, Chris McMurray. Now, Chris, I'll jump up here with you, mate. The not quite the pace you wanted in qualifying, but it seemed you got around these guys and held your own in today's race.
Yeah, qualifying, we put extra pressure in the tires. We thought we'd get our quick laps right away, and then I got traffic and got screwed up. But, patented McMurray start. I don't know how many cars I got before 3. It must have been 8. And then it was just maintenance mode. So super happy. Thank you, Matt. Thank you, Anders. Great to have you guys as teammates this weekend.
Well, congratulations. And indeed, great to see father and sons racing in the Radical Cup. Ladies and gentlemen, look at the paparazzi. Give them a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. The top 3, Chris McMurray taking the win. The champagne is coming in, and we're going to celebrate a lot this weekend. Of course, wrapping up championships as well. We'll count them down. 3, 2, 1, let's celebrate. Well, I think that puts McMurray back in the lead of the championship fight. We'll see what Almeida can do tomorrow. In Pro 1500, the championships also coming down to the wire. And this was a topsy-turvy race for the top 3 in this one. They all had a crack. They all looked like they could take the win. Home third, it was Evan Slater. In second place, it was a Graham Rahal performance driver, Nick D'Orlando. And to say this guy's on fire this weekend is a little bit of a tough one because he has been. What an amazing drive, a recovery after disaster struck at the start of this weekend. Jordan Missig back on top of the podium, takes another win in the Radical Cup North America Series. And Jordan, we'll get a quick word with you, mate. Well, that was the way you wanted that to end, but all of you guys had a crack at that one, and each with a little bit of a glitch, a tough race with the traffic of the Platinum Class cars.
Yeah, it definitely made things interesting. First and foremost, I want to give a huge thanks to the Radical Northwest guys for putting a car together and getting me a car to be able to race this weekend. So if it wasn't for them, we'd be sitting on the sidelines watching these two guys race it out for the win. So big thanks to them, and a big thanks to the Grand Brave Hall Performance guys for all day yesterday putting the cars together. And if it wasn't for your guys' help, we wouldn't be on track. So, but yeah, lots of action that was happening. It was tough to navigate some of the SR10s out there, but it's just all about picking your choosing your battles and making the right opportune passes, places to pass is what's going to get it done.
Well, perhaps I'll just quickly throw the microphone over to Evan because, mate, I like this. I feel tall now. Yeah. Now, mate, that was a frustrating moment, wasn't it? Because you sent it in. I mean, you're trying to get a gap, of course. You want to take the win, but it just wasn't to be, and you got tumbled back down the order.
Yeah, I mean, we were leading at the time, and I thought I saw a gap. I could separate myself with an SR10 in between, so I thought I had a great opportunity there, but it didn't work out in my favor. But that's racing. That happens. We learn from it. But yeah, overall great race. Still got some good points here. I got to thank the Ever guys, all my great sponsors, Cube 3 Architecture, Formax, my parents, all the mechanics, everybody that's making this race happen. So yeah, it was fun out there for sure.
Well, as you said, you're still well in that championship hunt. And it will be interesting to see how this plays out. But for now, we'll celebrate another win for Jordan Missig. Congratulations. Give him a round of applause. Give all three a round of applause. Big day at the office. And we also want to bring in our gold class winner before we celebrate with the champagne. And crucially for that points race, that was Corey Nouveau. Congratulations. Now, most people are looking at this fight for the top of the charts in Pro 1500, but you and Jack are duking it out as well, and you had some points to make up. You've done another solid job today, so it's in your reach now.
Yeah, that one was super fun. Once Jack was behind me, I knew the fight was on, so it was back and forth for most of the way there. We got it. I don't know if it's going to be enough, but we'll just do what we can control and try to win the rest of them.
Well, congratulations, mate. Get in there nice and tight. Oh. We'll get another shot. And ladies and gentlemen, give these guys one more round of applause. Pro 1500. The champagne is coming in. 3, 2, 1, let's celebrate. I feel like Jordan Missig's getting better and better at that. Lots of practice, that's it. Congratulations, gentlemen. And we'll move on to the Platinum class. And again, there was quite a bit of commotion at the pointy end of the field. A stellar drive, home third in his return to Platinum competition. Congratulations for Group A, it's Steve Jenks. I tell you what, Steve, whilst you grabbed that cap and that trophy, that was an awesome drive. It just, while all the chaos was ensuing around you, you really did a good job of carving your way through.
Yeah, it was a fun race. Thanks to Lenny and Jonathan and everybody from Group A to helping out. But no, it was a fun race. We had suspension issues in qualifying, and so when we were under yellow, I was convinced something was wrong with the car, so I backed up a little bit. But then after we got going, it was really good, so I just tried to put the laps together.
Well, it's great to see you back. Of course, you're with us at Laguna, but I feel like this is your rightful place in the Platinum class. What is it like being back behind these torque monsters, 380 foot-pounder torque, 430 brake horsepower in the SR10?
It's kicking my ass. I think I've driven 10 laps since last June in one of these things, and my neck's feeling it.
Well, 10 laps you've done. You're back in the podium area. Fantastic. Congratulations, Steve Jenks in third. Coming home second. He's no stranger to the podium either. Congratulations, John Field. But if you want to talk about commanding performances, I tell you what, I know you said it before, but you've been, you've basically been the pro racer in your lifetime, and it's always fun to watch the next generation come through. It just must be amazing to see the speed of Mackay Stevens this weekend.
Yeah, he's an amazing driver. It was. He just checked out, and it's good to see. I mean, we all got to step it up a little more to be with him, and we'll see what we can do this weekend. But yeah, having a blast with my son, and Chip and Matt. And then Matt and Chris. Obviously, the father-son combos are awesome in this series.
It is unbelievable. We'll get up on there, and it's time to introduce the guy that cleaned everyone's clock. I think it was 25 seconds or so. Congratulations, the winner in the Platinum class, Mackay Stevens. Now, Mackay, you'll get up on there, mate. There you go. And, wow, what a job. That was an amazing performance. We know the likes of John Field are quick. You showed some speed at Barber, but it just seems like you found your groove here in wine country at Sonoma.
Yeah, possibly a bit more of an incentive around these parts. But all due respect to the guys and gals that assist in putting on this show, thanks to Radical. Most importantly, on my side, thanks to Team Stradale Rhino Racing for allowing me to be here this afternoon. To these gentlemen as well, I mean, it is absolutely brutal out there, as I'm sure they can attest to, and then some. So maybe some steak dinners and something are in order to try to recuperate for tomorrow.
Well, I don't know what's going to be worth a tenth or two either direction, but I know there's going to be two other guys trying to chase you down tomorrow, Mackay. For now, though, it's time to celebrate his win. Congratulations, Mackay Stevens taking the win, John Field second, and Steve Jenks third. Will bring in the champagne. 3, 2, 1, let's celebrate. Well, that is the first of 3 podiums here this weekend for the the Radical Cup North America Series. We thank you for being a part of it. We'll be back here tomorrow for more action.